And we
Uh-huh.
show up in our areas in this big coconut grove where we're going to build our camp. There was nothing there, dude. It was just a coconut farm, right? And they just drop us off and we meet up there. We meet up with our partner force, which was Filipino Army, right? Infantry army, not special forces dudes. It was a company, a battalion, minus. So we sit up there and we build our camp right there, man. We were there for 4 months before we switched out. And, I had a lot of money that I converted into Filipino pesos, a not fund. And I had a bunch of tools and stuff that I brought with me. And I hired local nationals and used some of the Army guys, and we built our camp. We had concertina wire brought in that we ordered, and it showed up, and we built our perimeter. And it was amazing because when I went through the Q course, I had this guy named Pappy Jones and Ernie Tabata. They were in Vietnam. Amazing dudes, right? Heroes, legends. And they wrote these books back then where it showed how to build a special forces A camp, and I use those books, man, how to build my protective fire zones, like A zone, my B zone, my C zone, how to set up the claymores, how to set up the concertina wire, you know,
Whoa.
how to build the fight positions, all that, it's cool. And there was dangers. Like, dude, like we set up a tent. We eventually got this tent. We set it up at GP medium, and that's where the talk was. And, and all of a sudden you hear a thump, and then you hear, ugh, coconuts falling from the trees, dude. Bouncing
Death from
and going like a
above.
football, dude, and just taking dudes out.
Dude, man. I bet you the VA don't cover that.
Yeah, VA don't cover that stuff, man. And then, and we built our barracks out of coconut trees, old coconut, and
Yeah.
then we turned the coconut trees into coconut wood, and then all the walls were made out of palm fronds. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Did you use the land to build all
Yeah.
your facilities, or was it okay?
Yeah, I
I didn't know
did.
if
And
they.
then I ordered a water tank because we're at a hill, and we couldn't get water. The closest like clean water was 2 miles away. Um, and we had a little village nearby, and the kids didn't go to school because they had to always go and get water for the parents. So what I did is with my op fund, I ordered on the economy this big like water tank. And then I ordered a centrifugal pump and a tractor motor and a bunch of pipe. I'd never done this before, dude, but somebody told me about it. So I went down to the stream, which was downhill, and I built 3 walls around it out of brick and stuff, 1,000 gallons of water, and then I put that pump right there, and I pumped water uphill.
Yeah.
And as it went uphill, I would drop water off in some of the water things in the village. So that allowed kids to go to school. And then we were the last people. We would get water in our tank. And what I did is I built a tower out of coconut lumber. In order to get that tank up there, I built this pulley system between 2 trees and a rope. And I pulled it, and we eventually got some vehicles. And we tied it to the pulley system. We used a vehicle to pull the tank up in the air and set it on the platform.
That's
But
crazy,
that
man.
won hearts and minds,
Yeah.
right? So now I have this village that's loyal to me, right? And now
Yeah,
I
'cause
have this like second form of security, right? That's
yeah.
informing me of, because like we don't want the Americans going away, because
Yeah,
that was a Christian village too, right?
yeah. That's pretty cool, man. Like that's stuff that I'm interested. Like I try to do now. I think I've kind of always been that way of like trying to use whatever like I can to build whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I remember like in school, like in high school or whatever, or maybe middle school. They would. I forget what class it was, but they would give you like these. I don't know, like popsicle sticks and like whatever, right? And like you got to build like something that seems impossible,
Yeah.
and you throw it together and like you figure it out, and that's a cool exercise. But you were actually doing it in real world in a foreign country with potential threats or more likely threats, right, in the area.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to build all that out? Like,
About 4 months,
okay,
and, and I handed it off,
yeah,
to somebody else, and then it was just I just it was amazing, dude. It was just the amount of experience I learned from there for being just resourcefulness and how to communicate with people, right? How to
yeah,
get them to do something that I want them to do, without actually, like telling them, you
right.